Welcome to the archives of Hanging with the Hayters. Boy, you picked a good one, but if perchance this doesn't float your boat, check out another one. We're loaded. And don't forget, we're live every Wednesday at noon on www.irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hanging with the Hayters. I'm Mark Hayter, by the way. I'm just messing with you there, trying to get my radio voice ready. Kate, normally we do the la 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 la, and we didn't this time.
Oh, we forgot.
We forgot.
Try to get our voices warmed up a little bit.
I am Mark Hayter, and Kay is right over there. Hello, Kay.
Good morning.
Yeah, you know, it's like the first time I'm telling her hello, but hey, we've been helloing,
all
for
morning.
the last 4 hours.
Did.
Give me
a
break, please. Wonderful day, and an interesting show. It's there's just no question about that. I did want to say something first about the show. I don't know, you may be a first-time listener, and you may be listening to this on, even though it is right now June 22nd, you may be listening on the archives, in which case I don't know what day you're sitting in. By the way, this is I think it's the second day of spring. I think spring came on the 20th.
Honey, summer. We had the summer solstice.
That is exactly why I've got you on this show.
Well, I'm happy to be here to keep you straight.
The summer solstice. That means the lean of the Earth right now facing the sun is the sun's hitting right on the Tropic of Capricorn.
Now
Cancer.
That I can
help you. I think
you
it's Cancer, ladies and gentlemen. We knew this. Anyway, and that's really something. It has to do with tilt and all kinds of things. But right now what I want to mention was our show. It's always, Dick needs to know, the president of irlonestar.com, internet radio, Lonestar internet radio. Dick, community radio.
Yes.
All right, that's folks. We're getting there. Anyway, and it's so nice if ahead of time you can tell what we're going to be talking about. But folks, if you're listening, what you're going to be listening to is Kay and I talk about what we normally do. We sit down. I've got notes. She's got notes, but it's pretty much what we do. But whenever we're talking around the breakfast table or something, we really don't take notes unless the show's coming.
Right.
And it's kind of like my columns. Some of you may know I'm a columnist for the Conroe Courier and the Woodlands Villager. And when I sit down, I really don't have a direction I'm headed, but I do have a sense of the topic or where I would like to start. And when I start, Kay, on my articles, it automatically, just like any conversation, you mention something, movie, and it leads,
it goes off a different direction.
Different to the actor who is also in this. And my writing is, people have said it's disjointed sometimes, and I try to bring it back occasionally. But in this, what you're getting here, if you do not enjoy the article, or you don't know us, but hopefully you'll like us. But if you don't like us, son of a gun, you need to definitely listen to Cindy more.
Well, honey.
Well, that's true. But anyway, I'm just saying.
We're trying to leave the boring stuff out.
We are. I really hate to sell
My goodness.
myself. I
think we need to move on.
Okay. Anyway, that is the story of the show. It's us talking about important stuff. I got a lot of things here, and so does Kay. And Kay, right now, the most fascinating thing I'm so proud of that some people might not appreciate, but Kay, you and I actually fixed Venetian blind.
We did. Are we proud or what?
My gosh, folks, it was the faux wood. I didn't even know they called it faux wood Venetian blinds.
The wide 2-inchers.
Yeah. Until you're looking on the internet to find out how to do it, you've got to say faux wood, or they don't know it from anything. And you've got to put in horizontal, not vertical, because it's different.
It's a whole different deal.
And I looked on the internet and saw something. It's called a drum. You know, you got a drum in that thing that rolls up the strings and everything, and when you cut one string,
I do now.
You have to do all kinds of stuff to restring the rest of them. And anyway, Kay and I did it, and we're still married.
I know.
Yeah. You know, part
it can
of
get iffy.
The fear of it, Kay, and you took it very well, is there at the end, whenever we had to shorten it, I just started breaking the faux wood things.
The slat.
Slat. Yeah. And the only way I knew to do that was from the internet. They showed this guy doing it. And I thought, wow, we got to save those in case I cut it too short. So anyway, ultimately I ended up with more slats than I really wanted because I was too scared of making it too short. But folks, we finished it, and it was fascinating.
And here's the deal.
Let's hear it.
As usual, the reason that it wasn't working and what it wouldn't do was raise and lower the blinds. Not tilt the slats, but raise and lower them. And the reason it stopped doing that is because 2 teeny tiny little plastic pieces broke.
Yeah. They were made out of plastic, and I could have told you. That is very cheap. They cost $1.99, and so I ordered 3 of them for $12. Shipping, ladies and gentlemen, will kill you.
But the fact that you were even able to find the part,
yeah,
I mean, that was pretty amazing.
It's the internet. I am so fascinated by it. And by the way, folks, so that means if you need your blinds fixed or anything, whatever you do, don't call me because it was so complicated. I don't want to get involved again, even though we do have many blinds that need some repair. Kay.
Yeah, we do, and we're going to go for it. We're going to go for it.
Anyway.
This one is something to do with the tilt, with the wand, not making it open and close. So.
During the week, Kay and I were talking about something, and lo and behold, I think she took some notes over it, and it was fascinating. It gets me into technology and all. And Kay mentioned something about a refrigerator. Kay, help me out here.
Well, yeah, it's the latest refrigerator, and I think the running price on it now is somewhere around $5,500. But it's by Samsung. It's called the New Family Hub Refrigerator. Well, it's basically got
Hub, H-E-B, H-U-B?
Hub. It's got a big screen on the front of it, and has the weather up in there, and it's got like a place you can leave notes for your family. It's got a calendar. Anyway, it's like
a big computer.
It's a hub. It's a computer in there, and you can get information. So I assume that means you can get on the internet there with it, and you can do entertainment. And so anyway, apparently this is all. That's going to be a common thing in another 10 years for stuff to have internet connection.
One thing, they've got the commercials about this particular refrigerator, so some of y'all may have them. Some of you in the Woodlands probably do, and a few of you in Conroe. But this thing...
I would be willing to test one if anybody wants to, let us
But
have
what
one.
it'll do is you can just look on the outside and see what's in your refrigerator. And you can actually, Kay... pull it up on your phone and see, do I need eggs? Whoop. I've got a dozen right there. Actually, the box isn't open. I don't know if it's a full dozen. So you push a button and it won't open the box, Kay, but it's coming. Let me tell you.
Well, I guess you need to take your eggs and put it in the egg section.
You got to, Kay.
So it can count them for you.
Let me tell you, I saw this interview, and I was going to come up with the guy's name. He's very well known giving interviews on PBS. And son of a gun, it'll come to me tonight at some point. But he was interviewing these 2 technological geniuses, and one of them was involved in a plan he's got that will create all of our machines. I don't care if it's, obviously coffee maker or your lights. You could speak to your lights, and that's what it is. He's got voice-activated everything. And to the point where you come in and you just light bulb on. And it comes on because there is in each little electrical device or battery-powered device, there is a little chip in there that reads your voice. They can do that now. They say Google has the best voice recognition of anything, of any power. Right now they say that are 90%, if they are close to 95, but if they can get it to 99, they say you'll never get it to 100%. But if you get voice recognition to 95 and above, you are there. And you know what's so great about that 2K, is the fact that with this technology, and they're doing it now, you can speak and it will program itself. You could say in the not too distant future, they're saying within 5 years this will be everywhere, but I don't know. When I was in high school, they said in 20 years Brazil was going to be the most powerful nation in the world, and they're still working on stuff over there. But what they are saying in not 20 years, but in 5 years, the voice recognition will be great to where there will be no texting. There'll be no typing to speak of, keyboarding, and everything will be spoken. And you can write the program by just saying, I need a program to do such and such. And what's happened is someone has already put so much data in that they have the sensors that will pick up what it did and then change that into a software program. And they are saying, it could be 5 years, but they say there are breakthroughs that somebody comes up with ever so often. And there could be a breakthrough tomorrow or in a year or two that is going to up technology tremendously.
Wow. And I assume that they'll fix it to where it'll know if it's your voice or not.
Right.
Because everybody's got a different voice.
There's no question. Yeah, it's not anybody's voice. You couldn't come in and turn on my light unless you, Kay, were also programmed to do it.
Yeah.
And so it can distinguish stuff.
Well, there's
like
the potential, for a Big Brother element there too. So,
what it is, I think, and Dick could back me up on this, but he knows so much more than I do. But when we were talking about editing sound and all, there are sound waves on the on your computer screen that shows
when you're editing.
Yeah, up and down. And each one of us have a different voice tone or whatever pattern that is noticeable on a screen. With all those lines going up and down, squiggly lines.
Yeah, it looks
tell
like
you
an
if
EKG kind of.
telling a lie or not, those kind of things, only closer. And this computer program picks up those things and can tell, whoa, this guy always talks in this frame or that's...
Yeah.
Folks, isn't this fascinating? The things you would have missed had you not known. Okay, sad news. Did you read about the actor, the guy that Anton Yelchin, I believe, not Yeltsin?
Yeah, that was so sad.
The guy who played Chekhov in some other things.
In the latest Star Trek stuff. Yeah, he was very good, very good.
When his SUV rolled over him while he was against a gate and a brick mailbox, and he died in an hour, crushed him.
Yeah.
And Kay, they did a special, I think you were watching with me last night, were you not?
I was.
Where they showed that it's in some SUVs, and they showed the Jeep and some Dodges. They didn't show many types, so I don't know which ones it is other than those, where they've got a gear shift knob, people, and this is going to make you want to slap the person next to you. So if you're next to the person listening to this, you need to move back a little. Somebody invented a gear shift knob where you've got the gears, first, second, third, reverse, neutral, park, and what you do is you take the gear, it's right in the middle of this whole array, and you pull it to reverse, this is reverse, and then you let go, and it goes back to the original position, even though it is in reverse. In other words, you don't see, there may be something on the screen saying R, I would hope there are.
I think there is.
And what people do is they forget, since it's in the middle, they're thinking, I'm in park or something, when they're not in park, and they get out of the car and it starts inching forward or back.
Well, I think they're investigating. They don't know if it's always just the error on the part of the person.
Oh, okay.
Or if there's actually sometimes it slips into another gear. So they're going to have to figure that out. But that's terrible.
I don't see the purpose.
And that would be so confusing for me.
Me too, Kay. It's all I can do just to get it in drive. It really is.
Really. And I remember when we had our first standard car that I learned to drive on. Oh, my goodness, it was awful.
If I had to get my driver's license on a standard, I could have probably done it, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. We didn't have power steering. We had standard, but Dad had just bought a 65 Pontiac Le Mans that had power steering and automatic.
Yeah. We had that car in Huntsville for a while, didn't we? And it was on the hill trying to,
Oh, my gosh, where you have to keep your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. Yeah. Oh, those are terrible.
Yeah.
Kay, there's something else I just got to share with listeners, and it has to do with thrill rides. I don't know how many of y'all saw this. Y'all are aware of the gigantic Ferris wheel in London that's really huge, and it never stops. Maybe at night,
I don't know. It goes
very slow to where each time one of the gondolas comes down, you get in.
You've got time to get in and get off.
It's moving up. They've got that, and it is, you look at, wow, that must be, definitely in London or England. This is where they're going to build, Kay, or they're in the process of getting the property to build a gigantic circular colander, it looks like, see-through, that is a roller coaster, Kay, and it's 1,200 feet tall, and they're going to either put it on top of what's that big arena, Madison Square Garden, or they're going to put it on top of Penn Station. I think that's a train station.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, please forgive my abysmal ignorance about where these places are. We've been to New York one time, and we didn't get to see a whole lot.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be on top of the Farley Post Office, 1,200 feet tall. And by the way, that giant Ferris wheel is 630-something feet tall, Kay. And
so this will be twice
as big.
High.
And they're thinking they can make $38 million a year on people riding. They're going to charge about $35. And that, to me, is, wow, you're really thinking ahead, because it's going to take a long time to pay for that.
Well, that's my roller coaster days are over, like
they
a
are, Kay.
like a lot of other things that I don't do anymore.
One time at Playland Park. Raise your hand if you remember Playland Park in Houston. 16 people, son of a gun, just about everybody listening.
I remember I rode on it.
Right now, what we've got to ride on, Kay, is this is RIDE. We're riding into a break.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Hanging with the Hayters. Mark and Kay, this is OurLoneStar.com. Back in a couple of minutes. Kay and I appreciate you checking out our archives. Don't forget, we're live every Wednesday at noon on Lone Star Community Radio. If you have any questions, please contact us on our Facebook, Hanging with the Hayters.
And thank you for hanging with the Hayters.
Is
We're
it
back
nice
for
they came
segment
back,
2.
Kay?
Yeah,
That
it
is
is
so
nice.
cool.
Nice. They didn't go to something else. Yeah. We've been talking about kind of stuff in the news, and we were reading that the movie Finding Dory, which I've been talking about for weeks, was the highest debuting animated movie this past weekend. They made $136.2 million.
The highest in the history of animated movies. More money. Of course, I don't think inflation was taken into consideration, but I don't know that for sure.
Right. We haven't been to a movie in a long time.
We haven't, Kay. And
mainly because we weren't able to eat popcorn.
Okay, and the first popcorn we got to eat that I ate, I'm so sorry I got it. It was night before last. We were watching a softball game. It was a real game. It was a Little League game, except they don't call it Little League anymore. It was Orwell, Oak Ridge, whatever. Anyway, it's an all-star game. They were playing in Montgomery, and ladies and gentlemen, it's a 10 to 11-year-olds played for, it was over 2.5 hours, because there's no time limit on the all-star games. And, Kay, there needs to be a time limit. I didn't go to stay that long, and the game was really very boring. But we were over there, and it got late, and I was really kind of hungry for something salty, so I bought a bag of popcorn for
a small bag, and you shared.
And it was horrible. It was stale, very buttery, and I was so disappointed. Like my own first popcorn in 5 months was that.
Well, I didn't think it was that bad.
It was terrible, Kay. But back to Dory, I always felt sorry for her. She's got short-term memory loss and all.
I think she had a head injury.
Oh, she had something bad, but that's got to be infuriating for the people around her. But, Kay, one thing I've neglected to do for, about 3 weeks now is mention the movies that are coming out this week.
Oh, okay.
And I missed last week's. And this week, though, I'm going to hit you. And you've seen the previews if you've watched any TV at all. Free State of Jones. That's the one with Matthew McConaughey.
That's a true story.
It is a true story. My thought is, I'm not sure it happened during the Civil War, but
it did.
It did, okay.
I saw an interview with Matthew McConaughey, and they even showed a picture of the real guy, and he and Matthew McConaughey,
son of a gun,
eerily alike looking. I don't know if that.
If it looked like me, they might have chose me, huh?
Well, that's true.
Anyway,
but yeah, he stood up for him, and he helped black people through the remainder of his life, and
great.
he just didn't like the way they were treated.
Well, that's different from, like, Al was in the movie a few years back with
your brother Al.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Several named actors. It was called The Man Who Came Back, and it was based on a story out of Louisiana, sometimes pronounced Louisiana, about a group of blacks who rebelled. And many of them were hanged, but for a while they held their own in Louisiana. But the movie The Man Who Came Back was lightly based on that. That incident was in the story. But anyway, Eric Braeden was one guy who was in it too. Anyway, fascinating. The movie's coming out once again. Is that, and it's going to depress the daylights out of me because I don't think they're going to win. But that's one of them. The other is Independence Day. You've seen the
original
previews, Kay?
I know the original was great.
The original was good. This one is probably going to be all no story building or no character building, but just technology. The gigantic spaceship comes down about as big as the ocean, and I don't know how you fight these people.
Here's my thought on that. They're coming back 20 years later. They bulked up.
Oh yeah, they're bulky.
And they're like you said, their spaceships are like big enough like half the planet or something. And I thought, are we that important? I mean, this little bitty planet, they already had the resources to go back home and build all this stuff. What do they need us for?
Yeah, they didn't really need to do a whole lot, but fix their computer, make it unhackable.
Yeah, I mean, they could suck all the water in the ocean out in about, half an hour or so.
They could not handle a computer virus.
I have a bad habit of looking for holes, and stuff, so forgive me for that.
Kay, I feel partly responsible. I think I taught you a lot of that. By the way, there is one other movie coming out, but it's on Netflix, Kay, and I think we may get it. It is called The Fundamentals of Caring, and if you listen to the what it's about, there's so many shows like this, but this one is a little different. An emotionally damaged man acts as caregiver to an 18-year-old with muscular dystrophy as they embark on a road trip with Paul Rudd, Craig Roberts, and Selena Gomez. By the way, Craig Roberts is this young boy who had another series on Netflix, and I cannot remember the name of the series, but this kid is a good actor. He's got what you call charisma, and he's playing the
Is he
boy.
related to Julia? And
more than likely. I hadn't thought of that. Sure could be. Doesn't look like either one of them. But anyway, that is another one that people might consider. So that is movies. That's one thing you're going to be doing big in the summer, possibly.
Summer is movie.
Kay and I are.
Time.
But one thing that probably doesn't involve many of you, I hope it doesn't. I hope you've got other things to do, some of you. This is a good deal. Let me face it. It's very helpful. And right now I'm backpedaling because the topic is VBS, Vacation Bible School. It's going on all over the country, in the state, probably Texas, Oklahoma, Virginia, the South. There are a lot of VBSs, and it comes in the summer, and it stands for, of course, Vacation Bible School, as I think I said. And the name is a misnomer. There's nothing about vacation to it for me. When I went...
Talk about your experience.
And this is just coming from Mark Hayter's experiences.
In the 50s and 60s, folks.
Oh, it's terrible, ladies and gentlemen. We went to the Church of Christ, which was, at that time, the most fundamental group one could imagine, and we weren't denominational. They kept, you're not a denomination, you're not that, so we do our own kind of thing. And one thing we did is the theme seemed to be, don't make church, your goal is not to make church interesting. It's God who's going to make it interesting for people. And if you don't believe in God, you're not going to have fun here. And boy, did they live up to that. But Vacation Bible School, the most exciting thing was what was really weird is we got to drink punch and eat cookies, okay, in church. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're actually letting us do this. If I did that in the
snow cones, did you get snow cones?
Nobody had the makings of snow cones.
Sodas? No sodas?
No sodas, Kay. Golly, no. Anyway, they had that, and they always have a theme. And one thing I remember, my first Vacation Bible School was we got to make a Jacob's Well. And we made it out of a coffee can and some twine you wrap around it to make it look like something. I don't know what. And we used Lincoln logs to make because somebody donated them. I don't get it. To make the over thing where the bucket hangs.
Yeah.
And there was a story about Jacob's Well, and I really don't remember the story. I've since, somebody was using Jacob's Well, and I don't I don't remember. I know there was Abraham's well and many people's well, but I remember Jacob's ladder because you're climbing Jacob's ladder. But that was it, and oh my gosh, Kay, it lasted 5 days a week. It lasted about 3 hours, and you're sitting there, and, you know, the poor teachers, whoever they're doing, none of them looked like they were having fun with us. But today it's so much different, Kay.
That's what I was going to say.
I think
the kids are involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where we go to church. I mean, they go all out.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's decorations, and the kids actually participate. You're not just sitting there getting talked to.
And sometimes Moses shows up and other people.
Yeah.
You know, me and my old friend Cliff Miller, who passed on, bless his heart, great actor and lawyer and all. Peggy Miller, by the way, who writes for the Courier. His wife. He and I, me and Cliff, were in some vacation Bible school at, I think it was Longmire Church. And we were playing two cowboys, you know, two old cowboys. Hey, Ernie, what's going on? And coming up with skits about, I don't know what the deal was, probably being kind to one another. But I had promised I would never do anything like that. But then, boy, that Cliff Miller put pressure on me, and I did it. And some of the kids really liked it, laughed and all. But since then, I've pretty much sworn off of things like that. I don't like reenactments of things, and but, you know, playing an old cowboy, I don't mind.
Well, next year we can make cookies.
That would be cool. Cookies would be good, Kay. By the way, you mentioned that not at Vacation Bible School, I don't think, but maybe at the school, might have been Vacation Bible School, where they had chairs set out in the parking lot and the little kids came behind them, and what happened?
Oh, they had a marshmallow fight, and they lined up two rows of chairs and put half the kids on behind one set and the other half behind the other set, and handed them all marshmallows, and they just started throwing marshmallows. Now, these were like the 3 and 4-year-olds. Yeah. So it was so cute, just so cute. I wished I'd have filmed it.
You know, and I'm assuming it was just to release nerves, tension, or something from the little kids, because I can't think of any biblical thing where the throwing of marshmallows told a story.
And, you know, I'm not so sure it was Vacation Bible School. It was summer. I know that. They have a daycare program.
And that's the argument I got. Not argument, but, you know, school's out, everything's great. Vacation Bible School. Oh, my word. Mom made us go the first few years of our life, but, you know, at one point she said, it's up to y'all, go or don't go. You make the decision. Kay, we went anyway because we didn't want to break Mom's heart. And it was terrible. I mean, I went up to the time I went to the adult class, and boy, that was a pain. Right now, though, where we're going to go is to our 12:30 break. We get the weather, Kay, we get the traffic, and you're hanging with the Hayters, Mark and Kay, here on our Lonestar.com. Dick, take it away, young man.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Hello, folks. You're back on Hanging with the Hayters. You know, Kay, there's a lot of stuff happening downtown. People passing by. There's a air conditioning truck across the street in the parking lot. Y'all might want to come down to
downtown Conroe is an exciting
everybody
place.
Seems to be here. And by the way, as Mike Sasser said, you can come by and listen to the watch Mike Sasser through the window, his health hour. By the way, I did want to say this, Kay. I was looking in the Courier and I saw something that the Woodlands United Methodist is hosting that, to me, it knocks the socks off of Vacation Bible School.
Okay.
Once again, the name,
what is it?
The acronym VBS just puts fear in my bones. And what they have is a WOW, W-O, WOW, I'm sure it stands for something, WOW Science Camp. theme being Wonders of the World. Now, Kay, I wouldn't mind going to that if it was one day and maybe an hour and a half. But it sounds good. It sounds inviting. But vacation, you want to take a vacation? Yes. Bible school, we're going to church. Oh, my word, please. But that's a little different.
You really like being home, don't you?
I do, Kay, more than the other.
I know.
I know it does good for a lot of kids. Some kids, it's the only place they.
Well, we've got families that we know pretty well at church, and some of them have little kids, and you talk to the kids, and they're saying stuff that just blows my mind because they're getting it a whole lot earlier than I did, and have actually got some, a pretty good basis in the Word. And, yeah.
I tell you, we the Hayter kids. Did you go to Vacation Bible School much?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Not every year.
We went to church. We had classes Sunday morning, Wednesday night, and of course we went Sunday night to listen to the most boring stuff preaching you've ever heard. Once again, fundamental Church of Christ. If you were paying attention, you went home crying. But that was my background, and I learned all about Joseph and Jacob and the Tower of Babel, which to this day I do not fathom. I do not, that's one weird story, and maybe we'll share it with you someday. Look up the Tower of Babel and just ask yourself, what the heck? How could they? What was this all about? Anyway, right now, though, I did want to mention something. Kay, if you'll recall, Jill came and visited us last weekend. And when my sister Jill comes, we have some great talking. We go crazy
about and I'm there most of the time.
Yeah.
Talk
about
you are. Unusual topics.
Jill's a little bit nuts, and not me. It's Jill, and she was talking about superheroes, and she said her famous superhero is Superman. And let's face it, Superman is. You can't get tougher than a guy that can see through anything. He can burn through metal with his eyes. You can shoot him, blow him up with a nuclear bomb, and he's okay. He can fly to Mars, whatever. So I don't know why he's breathing even. It's hard to beat, and yet kryptonite, somehow or other, it's out there.
It's his Achilles heel.
That's the only thing you can do to mess with the guy. She's talking about him, but now she's got another superhero she likes more than Superman.
Really?
Okay, it's Aquaman. Have you seen the picture?
Well, I hadn't until Jill showed it to me.
Oh my word!
And that's another movie coming out, right?
Oh yeah, Aquaman. I don't know when. If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
He's all bulked up.
He's bulked up, ladies and gentlemen. Aquaman is not the little guy that just swims in the water like a like a tadpole or something. This guy looks like what's the water god? Neptune.
Yeah, he's got his fork.
It's the Game of Thrones guy who was tough, didn't have many lines, but he played the girl who was the queen of the dragons. It was her husband for a while until he died.
Well, seeing as I didn't keep up with Game of Thrones,
I've seen him in several things, and he is one big guy, and he can look in his Aquaman outfit. Oh my word, he's a good looker. According to Jill, for me, wow, okay, he's tough. No, I wish I had half his.
Well, we'll have to see. I'll read a review.
Yeah. Anyway, Jill was there, and one thing we got to talking about was idioms. They might be adages, but who knows? And Kay, so many things you wonder about in life. Or at least I do. You've got adages like face the music. You're going to face the music, young lady.
Where'd that come from?
That came from the military. According to what I read, I actually did some research on this. Face the music is when a guy was drummed out of the military, and they call it now, drummed out. Where did that come from? You are standing in front of the officer of the day, whoever, and guys playing the drums, and you are facing the music. There will be bugles or something later. You're standing there, and he's ripping off like what was that series? Oh, but one man died there at Bitter Creek, and they said he ran away. Branded, that was the name of the show.
Branded, yeah.
Hark, there's a one who ran. What do you do when you're branded? And you're a man. That was, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Connors played that.
Yes.
But anyway, so you're facing the music, and you're getting your just desserts. Meaning not desserts, but so when you do something wrong, you're going to face the music. That was one of them. Another one, Kay, have you remember somebody say, "Oh man, I botched up. I really botched this one."
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and the question is, Yeah, it is common. And why? And son of gun, I read this. There was a guy in 1879 who had finished. He designed a bridge in, it was Scotland. It was in one of those cities of Scotland. I think they only got 2.
Edinburgh?
And I made that up. No, it wasn't Edinburgh. But anyway, it was one of those Scotland places. And it was, at the time, the longest bridge ever constructed as of 1879.
Okay.
So it was long. And the design was unbelievable, and it was very famous. And even in 1879, this guy became famous for designing the bridge. And his name was Thomas Botch. And it was wonderful. It cost a lot of money, a lot of time to build.
Good,
and it looked good. Well, it was 19 months later, they had wagons and people walking across the bridge, and the winds got big. And you've seen a video of this real bridge that just started flapping. Well, this bridge apparently started doing the same thing. It was a suspension bridge, double suspension thingers, and it blew the bridge down.
It fell.
It fell, killing 74 people. And so the word got out. He was at the top of oh man, he's the greatest designer in the world. And then they said, oh my gosh, he became a joke. Botch. If you did something wrong, you botched up, didn't you? You did like Botch did.
That was a bad deal.
Okay, what would it be?
But you know that the other bridge, the one you're talking about, where you see the old black and white photos, probably from the 30s. And that bridge is swaying because of the winds and stuff. I mean, they still didn't have it figured out.
Yeah,
70 years later.
Yeah, or if they did, it cost too much to fix it, so they went ahead and tried it.
Well, you'd have thought they wouldn't have done
that.
But
my thought is how you could, your life, and you come down to the end, and now you're known as the guy who botched up. That would be terrible. Like Homer Simpson, you pull a Homer. That can be anything because the guy's botched up so many times.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, I feel sorry for Thomas, and I'm sorry that happened to the guy, and of course to the 79 people who died with it.
No kidding.
Okay, there's another one that actually was 75 people. I apologize for that. And some of y'all might have heard this about break a leg. You tell an actor before he goes on, break a leg.
Yeah.
And it sounds stupid. And I've said it before. Some people say break both legs, to give you
extra good luck.
And you're supposed to say thank you when they say that. Well, that comes once again from beautiful Britain. And what they have there was a belief way back when, and some of them probably still have it, that there are spirits called sprites. They are around, and what they are, they pester people. And what
like
they
the
do,
bad fairies.
They're the bad fairy, Kay. They're anyway, what they do is whatever you wish, they will see that the opposite happens to you. Oh, I hope I get this job. Well, what they'll do is somehow make it to where you not only don't get the job, you get fired from the one you got and all. That's what sprites do, and they go around.
Create havoc.
Create havoc. So, way back when, I don't know if Shakespeare's time or what they would do is tell an actor, if you're on stage, it'd be really horrible. I would have said, forget a line, and the sprites would make you do the opposite, which is remember your lines, but what people said is break a leg, meaning that means nothing's going to be broken on you during this play. You're going to be doing great. So
good stuff will
happen. And that's the story behind it. And I don't even know if it's true.
I think we've had a sprite in our house.
These sprites, Kay, they'll kill you.
Weird stuff's happening.
Can't hold a candle to something. This involves way back when the person who was, a very skilled craftsman or whatever might walk around there, be a candle with guy holding a candle with him, watching stuff, and he's working on things. Hold the candle over here. And your job is holding the candle for the guy who really is good.
Yeah.
And so when they say you can't hold a candle to, that means you're not even good enough to hold the candle in front of the guy that can do stuff. You're not even that good.
That's really a put down.
So when they say you can't hold a candle to it, that's it. And folks, now I'm going to tell you this one, and it is, Kay's going to hate it, but it's true. And I don't know, it's a true story. You know how today... by the way, send your kids out in the hall for a minute. How somebody will say in a gangster movie or something, hey, you're busting my balls. That came from way back when, I guess before scissors were made. And what they would do with calves, Kay, is instead of cutting off their testicles, they would take a stick or a pipe or whatever they had and bust them. It was where you're, making him less
castrate
him that way. And so when you're busting someone's balls, you're making him you're just beating him down, demasculating. So when
at great pain.
From now on, all of you people who are saying that, keep that in mind. It's a very sad thing to do.
I have a saying, and maybe you can tell me where it comes from.
Okay, you bet.
I like to move it.
I like to move it. That's from Madagascar, Kay.
Yes, it
is. It was a real song, of course, by somebody, but it was.
I had to change the subject, y'all.
Oh, he did. She did, and she did really well. There is one other thing Jill said that was very funny, and I get this. She was talking about her son Ethan, who's he's a nurse at some.
Yeah, but he's a big
guy.
He is.
He's a tattooed son of a
6
gun.
6 foot something.
And anyway, Jill would say, when he was younger and all, they would drive around, and he would just do stuff like, tell her something, Mom, something horrible happened. I lost this, I lost that. And she would, oh, gosh, Ethan, really? And he'd say, no, I'm gay. And he wasn't gay, but that's just the tricks he would pull on her. And another thing he would do is
to get her to laugh.
She
had just told her something bad.
And another thing she would do, and I really like this, he would, when Jill's griping about something or whatever, to him, he'll say, act like a drunk guy, and he'll say, you don't know you. And it just breaks into humor and all. So I'm going to try that from now on, Kay.
Yeah.
Something else I'm going to try when we get back, we are going to have joke. We're also going to have a story, and folks, it's about Ferris, Oklahoma, and Vacation Bible School.
All right. Well,
back
we'll
in
see
a couple. Hang with Hayters, Mark
K. Don't go away.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Thank you for hanging with the Hayters this afternoon.
They're still here. I see them.
We're already on to the last segment of the show, honey.
It goes by fast, this segment.
Yeah, it does.
It's so
this is the usual, you got a story and a joke for us?
Yeah, a story. The joke actually is going to be something we did earlier in earlier episodes. And, man, I have got this list of insults that famous people have delivered at one time or other, be it Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, and
great.
all. And it's not something you're just going to laugh at, but it's something that you want to remember. So
something
you might want to
wish you had thought of.
And I think I mentioned this one last time. I just want to give you an example of what it's like when Groucho Marx said, and it's famous to this day, he said, "Hey, I've had a perfectly wonderful evening, but this wasn't it." You're telling your host, and that's an insult, but it is. Robert Redford once said, Robert Redford, you've heard of him, sometimes pronounced Robert Redfern. He said concerning someone, I don't know who, he said he has the attention span of a lightning bolt, which means you're not going to get this guy's attention very well. And Charles Count Talleyrand, that's Talleyrand who came over to the United States from France and wrote up a bunch of stuff about America, which was good. But he once said concerning a woman, he said, in order to avoid being called a flirt, she always yielded easily. Concerning the lady. That's an insult to that lady, Yeah. She didn't want to be called a flirt, so, she wasn't flirting. She was, I just had to explain that. And, of course, actor Forrest Tucker, who was in about every movie John Wayne made, says concerning someone, he loves nature in spite of what nature did to him. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kay, we have news from Ferris, Oklahoma again. Our first two episodes we were listening to the news of Ferris, Oklahoma until they canceled their news story. But
there wasn't enough going on.
Wasn't enough, but I did get information from a guy named Furry Mac.
Furry?
Yeah, Furry. he was supposed to be named Michael, but the first time his dad saw him, he said, "That is one furry kid." And so he took on the name, and it stuck, Furry instead of Michael. And Mac was Mackenzie, but they just call him Furry Mac. Anyway, Furry Mac sent me information because he said, "We're sorry we don't have any news to give you, but here's some, and it concerns Vacation Bible School. Son of a gun, and it's so timely." That's one reason I got involved here, Kay, in Vacation Bible School. And it's Vacation Bible School out of Ferris, Oklahoma. And what they decided to do, and this happened last week, was the town, every religious body, non-denominational group said, "Why don't we have a joint VBS? Just do it together." It's not a bad idea, It's all centered around Christ. That's what we're trying to do. So all the non-denominationals, plus the Church of Christ, even came in and agreed to do this. I couldn't believe it either. But they had one Vacation Bible School, and they decided to hold it in the gym, the Ferris ISD gym, which was the gym for every age group, level, because they only have one. And it wasn't that big of a facility. It was big enough to play a baseball game. And folks, that's stupid. A basketball game, man. You don't play baseball in a gym. You shouldn't. But anyway, they had it there. And you couldn't wear shoes, of course. All the kids had to take their shoes off. And most of them didn't wear shoes anyway. And son of a gun, Kay, they served grape and strawberry punch with cookies on the first 3 days. But the last couple of days, they served bottled water and saltines because, unbeknownst to them, there were actually some people from Newton, Oklahoma, which was 32 miles south and west of Ferris, Oklahoma. Anyway, Newton, Pop Marley brought his pickup truck in, and he brought every kid in Newton with him, and that's 12. 12 kids who were from the age of 3 to whatever 6th grade is, 12 years old, I think it would be, something like that, brought them in. And there were only about half, which would be about 15 kids from Ferris that were there. So you got 15 and 12. You got 27 kids in that gym. And anyway, there were so many people there, more kids, 12 more than they thought. That's why the last 2 days they were out of cookies and punch, so they had to use bottled water and saltines. But the theme this year, Kay, was, according to Furry, was Noah's Ark. And, that's tried and true. How many have had Noah's Ark? And the reason you do, ladies and gentlemen, is because the kids, you can have them drawing animals, in the ark. They can draw boats. Or you can make a boat. Like I mentioned, when I went to Vacation Bible School, we made Jacob's well out of a coffee can and some yarn and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, they had Noah's Ark, and the younger kids up to the age of fourth graders, 3 years old and up, what they did is they drew pictures of the animals, different animals, and in the 4th grade to 6th grade, they actually made boats. According to Furry, they made the arks out of matchsticks and toilet paper rolls. And that was, some people said sacrilegious.
You can do a lot with toilet paper roll.
Okay, don't get me started.
I saw one of our art teachers at CISD made a Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, out of a toilet roll.
Lincoln out of toilet paper roll? Looked just like him.
And it was wonderful, and it's because our fine arts coordinator, Jerry McKinney, when he took over doing the art curriculum, he said, "I don't want to see any more toilet paper art coming out of these classes." So that teacher made him that. And he had it up on his shelf in his office forever.
We missed out on that. Like I say, they weren't going to do that at the Church of Christ. Points of interest, by the way, Furry's giving me some here. They said 7 kids came forward at the end of the 5th day, but they came forward to launch complaints. And 4-year-old Petey Frank said that, 4-year-old said it's dumb to think that Noah built a big boat big enough for all the animals, because it would have been full of poop after the first week, according to Petey. So Petey's thinking it's fiction. Little 4-year-old, he's really into that. And I never thought of that. I just assumed God would make them not defecate.
Well, you can shovel that stuff.
Oh, you can shovel, but according to the scripture, Noah never opened a door or window for 150-something days. Anyway, that was kind of strange. But that was one thing. And, of course, Stella Winchell said she was offended that she had to build an ark out of a toilet paper roll, and we already mentioned that, and that it was an abomination to God, so she was a little upset. This gave Mabel Hurley, who was the person who instigated the entire thing, her chance, and she said this would be the last VBS ever. And then
joint VBS.
Yeah, and some of the parents who showed up the last day started hollering boo, and she said, okay, if we do ever have it again, it'll only be 2 days, and it'll be she said this, 2 blanking hours shorter, which she used to. She did. Mabel, she got caught up with herself, and she said anybody out of town has to bring their own cookies and drinks. Anyway, important thing is VBS is over, and the kids are singing in the streets, and the parents are begging Mabel once again to have it actually 2 weeks instead of 1. I don't know how that's going to make it, but it was a fun time had by about half the people. And anyway, that was the news from Furry Mac from Ferris, Oklahoma, where the town is small and the problems are apparent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
That was a sad
story. That was sad. For listening to Hanging with
Thank you for listening.
Hayters, Mark and Kate, next week. Ooh, gosh, Kate, I can't wait. See y'all
next week.
Then.
Bye-bye.
Michael Sasser, coming up.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schishler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schishler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.